The Minister for Employment Services.
Mr Speaker, I seek to add to an answer.
Minister of Employment Services may proceed.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, yesterday in question time, the member for Dixon asked me a question. Based on information that a job seeker had provided to her, she asked about, and I quote, a young unemployed man in South Australia who was breached for failing to attend an interview with a job network provider when that provider had moved location without telling the client. Mr Speaker, I asked the member for Dixon to provide some details so I could follow up, and as promised, Mr Speaker, I have some information to report to the House, and I thank the member for Dixon for providing me with those details. Mr Speaker, I can report that the job seeker in question had been continuously on unemployment benefits since March of 1995. He had been in intensive assistance since September of last year. I'm advised that the job seeker in question has never attended a single intensive assistance interview.
Member for Dixon.
I'm advised.
Member for Dixon knows the reforms of the House she can use, and if she defies the chair, I will deal with her.
I'm advised that this particular
member for Dixon is warned.
I'm advised that this particular job seeker regularly offered excuses for non-attendance at such interviews, even when the Job Network member in question had provided a day pass on the bus.
Minister will resume his seat.
He gave me an assurance, Mr Speaker, and I will not have this person vilified by you. You gave me an assurance.
I issue a general warning. The member for Dixon knows that she leaves me with no choice but to require her to excuse herself from the House under provisions of 304A, and if the member for Dixon defies the chair, I will name her. I have issued a general warning. Exactly. The Leader of the Opposition.
A point of order on relevance. The question yesterday to this minister was whether or not this particular individual had attended upon a centre at which he was supposed to. When he arrived there, he did not find the centre open or at that address, and as a result of that he was breached, lost his payments as a result of that. That was the question. It was a specific question. Abusing it, this minister has got up here and talked about everything but the question he has asked. He has slandered the man. He has slandered the man but not answered the question.
The member for Macmillan will excuse himself from the House under the provisions of 304A. Do members not understand what a general warning means? As the Leader of the Opposition is aware, the minister sought leave to add to an answer, and what he has done to date has been entirely within the confines of the question. And what he has done to date is entirely within the provision of the standing orders which allows him to add to a question. He has not added any matter that was not relevant to the question he was asked, and for that reason he is relevant, and I call him.
Mr Speaker, I'm advised that the job seeker
Member for Patterson will excuse himself from the House under the provisions of 304A. Member for Sturt will excuse himself from the House on the provisions of 304A. When the House has come to order, the Minister.
I'm advised that, contrary to the suggestion yesterday, the job seeker in question in fact knew that the Job Network member had moved sites, and I'm also advised that the new premises were actually closer to the job seeker's home address than the old premises.
The Minister will resume his seat. The Manager of Opposition Business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am aware of the processes by which ministers can add to answers, but I want to draw your attention to the special circumstances of this case, which is causing some of the concern on this side of the House.
Member for Macon will excuse herself from the House. Manager.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Manager has a call.
That on this occasion the Minister contacted the member who'd asked the question, sought further information and gave an assurance that nothing would be done in this House to embarrass the person about whom the question was asked. And it's the blatant breach of that guarantee that is causing the concern.
The Manager of Opposition Business will resume his seat. The Manager of Opposition Business is, I am sure, aware that the Chair is not only unaware of, but has no control over that sort of arrangement, and in fact, for that reason, has ruled entirely consistent with the standing orders. The Minister.
Mr. Speaker,
I remind members of the general warning. It gives me no glee to have members required no longer to represent their electorates for a period of time. The Minister has the call.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. I'm further advised that 2 breaches were imposed and then revoked on this job seeker before a further breach was sustained. And Mr. Speaker,
Minister will resume his seat. The member for Denison.
Mr. Speaker,
Member for Prospect might just bear in mind how thin the ice is.
Mr.
Member
Speaker,
for Denison.
as the Leader of the House,
I thank the member for Prospect for the opportunity to I think bring some balance to the House. The member for Denison has the call.
I think we needed that moment of levity, but look, this is a serious matter, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate that you would not be privy to an undertaking, but having been made aware of it, we were all made conscious of our responsibilities towards each other the other day, and you do have general command of the procedures of this House.
Member for Denison will resume his seat. No, the member for Denison will resume his seat. Member for Denison will resume his seat. Consistent with the action taken by my predecessors, as I said earlier, if the minister were to do something unparliamentary, I would deal with him, and as has been evidenced this afternoon, I'm in the mood for just that. The minister has, however, taken no action which could be deemed to be unparliamentary, and I call him.
Mr. Speaker, let me say that I'm confident.
The question is the minister be no longer heard. All those of that opinion say aye. Contrary, no. I think the noes have it. The ayes have it. Is a division required? Division required.
Stand on the ice. Not when you can find my ice. It's got to have scotch and soda in it. On the ice for all days.
Lock the doors. The question is that the Minister for Employment Services be no longer heard. The ayes will pass to the right of the chair and the noes to the left. I appoint the honourable members for Corangamite and Mallee. Tellers for the ayes. The honourable members for Port Adelaide and Maribyrnong. Tellers for the noes.
McClellan and Garrick, Byrne and Burke, Sidebottom and Martin, Rippol and Thompson, Gillard and Ross, Albanese, Cox and Innocent, Irwin Rosier, Latham and Fitzgibbon, Paul Morris, Quick and Price, Lawrence and Austin, Ford and Hill, Hollis and Edwards, Gibbons and Hatton.
Order. The result of the division is ayes 59, noes 74. The question is therefore negatived. Will members please quickly and quietly resume their seats?
We'll have to call you Fonya Heaney.
No, she used to swim.
The Minister.
Mr Speaker, I'm confident that the Job Network member in this case has acted quite properly, as has Centrelink. Mr Speaker, I agreed with the member for Dixon to keep the job seeker's name and address confidential, and I have done so. I have done so. I have done exactly what I promised.
Leader of the Opposition.
You are a sanctimonious
will resume his
windbag.
seat.
You are an...
Minister! Member for Melbourne.